Hey folks, my guest today is Arie Stefchansky. He's the founder of DataClay, a company developing software that automates the production of data-driven creative content at scale. His academic and industry experience inform his entrepreneurial endeavors, leading a talented team that supports enterprise licenses such as Netflix, Amazon, Apple, NBC Universal, the NFL, and others. Arie, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, why not?
All right,
Let's do it.
all right, man. So just to be clear, the logos I just reeled off here, your team gave me that when they gave me your bio. Those are all paying customers of DataClay.
Yes, that is correct. Yes,
That's amazing.
yeah,
All right,
yeah, it's a very powerful tool we've made here.
let's do NFL. Let's just do them. How do they use you?
Sure. So with the NFL, they wanted to separate their marketing department from their video production department to get more content out to their social channels. And so our software acts as kind of like a data merge software for video. So we built them a Slack chatbot where marketing folks could go in and chat with the bot, and then content would be made on the other side, right, on a server that somebody at the NFL would QA, and then it would go to their social channels. So it's basically helping them create content for their social. And then also we have another group in the NFL that's doing stuff like, just player stats and just pre-renders for stuff that you see on broadcast. So a lot of the work that gets done in post-production in that kind of, world where they're creating graphics, our software sits atop of their workflow to handle all the data that's incoming from the games and from the players to get that data to display in the way that they want it to display in their content.
So, Ari, just to be clear, look, I'm a big Washington Commanders fan. It's obviously a
Yeah.
bad time for us right now, but we just played Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers the past weekend. And it's always remarkable to me when some play happens, right? I'm going to make this up. Aaron Rodgers gets sacked. And right away, Troy Aikman in the broadcast booth, there'll be a graphic that pops up that says, this is the first time in 9 million years that a quarterback older than 38 with 5 gray hairs who runs slower than 10 miles per hour got sacked in the third quarter with 2 minutes left. And it's like they feel
Mhm.
like I feel like they can pull a stat for anything. And I always wonder, how the hell do they do that? Is this on the back end? Is this what you're powering? Someone's basically a marketing person saying, putting that in, and then it's going live on broadcast?
Yeah, so on the broadcast side, a lot of those systems are like real time systems. Our software kind of plays to that market where they're experts, but they're using the Adobe ecosystem, the Adobe Creative Cloud ecosystem. And so what you're seeing when they do it like in real time, virtually real time, is more of a broadcast based real time graphic system. Our system is more of an automator, and it allows users to create a lot of different unique content before it gets broadcast or before it gets to a play out. So, it depends on how fast they want to get that content out there. But when you're seeing
But
live television,
you're not real time.
no, yeah, we are.
Okay.
We're called just in time. So it takes time to render, but a lot of the content that gets rendered out eventually ends up in some kind of play out. Some kind of control panel that
So
gets played out.
oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right, so the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview. What about okay, so you're not able to feed data directly to a live broadcast on NBC when I'm watching Commanders versus Green Bay Packers, but what about right when Terry McLaurin, a receiver, makes a 40-yard catch and it goes up on Twitter from like 6 different accounts and that becomes the viral tweet for that game? That's almost real time, but not 100% real time. Is that you?
That's exactly, yes. It's that is the use case for our software. Yes.
I see.
Absolutely.
I always wonder that. So like it's not people at the NFL or even an NFL team. It's like people that run their own NFL related podcast or their NFL content. They are able to get these clips. You're the one powering that.
Yeah, on their servers. So our software is running. We don't have access to their data. And that's one of the reasons why I think our customers really like our software is that the data is actually very precious. It's their crown jewel for the customer. Yeah. So they don't want some, video production company having access to that data. Our software allows our users to install it on their own environment, within their own environment. So they have complete control, whereas Data Clay has no conception of what data is flowing in and out of its software.
It's on-prem. It's sort of on-prem in that regard.
That's exactly right.
So how do you generate recurring revenue so you can have predictability and build a team and build a company? Is it like an SLA agreement or a licensing agreement? How do you structure that?
Yeah, so it's basically a term-based license. You get a license key that activates the license on the machine. It's a recurring payment that must be made for that license to continue to operate on the user's machine. And as far as like the larger enterprises, yes, we will engage with them on a more SLA level. We have, a master professional services agreement for, mission critical projects that they might be doing. So yeah, it's in one aspect, we have our website where people go and they download a license key. They pay us, they download a license key, and then it's a recurring revenue stream. We also have an exclusive reseller that has more, that we've partnered with that has a lot of inroads to a lot of different studios around the world. So it's a mixed approach as far as that.
So help me understand what you price again. Does it number of clips generated, amount of data processed per weekend, number of seats? Sure. How does the NFL, not the NFL, but just we're using the NFL as an example. How would they pay you?
Yeah, so we basically license on a per machine basis. So it does depend on how much volume they are rendering, but we don't track per video. And I think that's another reason why I think that our customers enjoy our software is that we're not interested in being so restrictive about, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars per video that gets rendered.
How many machines though does the NFL have, or NBC Universal, or Apple? I mean, I just have no concept of this. Is it 10 or 10 million?
No, it's not 10 million. Certainly not. I mean, we're talking about a software that is extending Adobe's software, which is very much human driven. Like Adobe requires humans to be in front of their software. So it's a desktop software that is basically being extended into an automation software, which is what we provide. So, at the largest, I'd say some of our clients have maybe like 20, some of them have like 5, some of them have, in between that. So it's not this vast amount.
Would a sweet spot be like 10?
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely like if your entire line of business is video and you need to be creating video on demand and you have a lot of requests coming in, you're certainly going to need to have multiple fleet
So just to
set up.
repeat this back to you to make it make sense to our audience, right? So you are selling a license key that the NFL would install on-prem on the
Hmm.
desktops of 10 of their people in their marketing department responsible for video content that allows them to get this content just in time and post it to Twitter when there's a big catch, a big touchdown, or to Facebook or to social media.
Yeah,
Amazing. All right.
essentially, yeah,
I
yeah.
got it. My head's around it now. So give
Right
give
on.
give me a little bit more of sort of help me understand. I mean, these are obviously enterprise accounts, right? Which would say that you're sort of selling enterprise level plans. But what would you say sort of the average customer is paying per month or per year?
I mean, the average customer maybe somewhere like, I don't know, 6,000 per year.
Okay.
It's yeah, I mean, more so the enterprise, they can be paying up between like 24 to 50,000 per year.
Your
So
biggest customers pay 50,000 a year.
yeah, yeah, it depends
Yeah.
on, yes. Yeah, and that largely is dependent on how many seats or how many machines they want to run the software on.
Yeah.
So so yeah.
Well, I guess 50,000 a year would be like 20 machines versus 6,000 a year would be like 5 machines.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, so
Something like that.
you do get cheaper per machine economics if you're buying bulk
Oh,
from
certainly.
Dataplay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We have both term-based discounts and volume-based discounts,
I
which
see.
it entices the customer to purchase more licenses up front. We also have month to month or annual
Mhm.
recurring. We also have just term limited, meaning you can buy a key that is only good for 3 months, and
Yep,
it will just cut off at the end of the 3 months. And then if that customer decides they need more time, they'll have to buy a new key. So
that makes
so
sense.
there's so
Put this on a timeline for me. Were you like a sort of an ex NFL quarterback that retired and then got into this space, or what year did you launch this business?
yeah. Okay, so we launched it in 2014, in the summer of 2014. I have my background's in filmmaking and in computer science, and also in something called interaction design, which is basically the design of how humans work with things, products. And I took all these. I used to work in a post production studio and a motion graphics design studio in Chicago, and I realized a lot of this stuff can be automated, and so I combined all my skills to build this product that I thought would be well served in the industry because I knew the pain points, and so the pain points I was solving those with the software I was building. I partnered with again a company in New York that is it's a reseller of software that basically helps the video post production world. Once they saw it, the market response was just like, I had
But
no idea.
you didn't
I
give
had
them
no
equity
idea it
though,
was going to
right?
be
You owned
that.
100% of the business
Yeah, yeah. At that
at the
point,
start.
at that point. Well, I have a co-founder,
Okay.
and so it was between us, and so yeah, at that point, it was divided in that regard.
But did you and your co-founder so you were the engineering, it sounds like, what was he or she?
More business development,
Okay.
more relationship building. So I was kind of the one that was technically at the keyboard, building, listening to the end users. Co-founder is more he was more about getting getting it out there, trying to develop
I totally
relationships that
understand.
eventually.
Understand. This is
Yeah,
very
yeah,
similar.
yeah.
I'm always just curious though how an engineer and a business person would split equity at the beginning. It sounds like this was your idea first. You built it, you found him, brought him on to go to market. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
you own more equity then, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right,
Yes.
but still enough for him where, to call it 10, 20, 30% where he's a true co-founder.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, obviously, you guys can keep on and hold that equity as you grow the business unless you raise or do something dilutive. So, have you bootstrapped or decide to raise?
We are completely bootstrapped. Yeah.
Let's go. I
There
love that.
there have been investors that have approached us, and we did give away a very small fractional amount of equity, just because this investor was really interested in the software and to see where it was going to go, and so yeah. but
Under
beyond that,
5%?
yeah.
Okay.
And so
I see
yes,
people
yes,
say
under five.
small, and then I say how much, and they say 50%. I go, that's not small.
No,
That's half your business. All right. So did he
no.
put in money, or is he just an advisor?
He put in some. He put in some money, but also advises from time to
Okay.
time. Yeah.
And some people say small, and they say 10 million. I'm like, that's not small. So like under $1 million.
Yeah. Yes. For
Okay.
sure. For sure. This
All
was
right.
early. This was only 3 years into the business.
Okay.
This
Fair
was
enough.
like we were still fledgling at that point.
Fair enough. Okay. And then I want to go back and get some of the 2014, 2015, 2016 part of the story, but I don't want to bury the lead either. How many customers are you working with now today?
Yeah. So I'd say we have around over a little over 200 active enterprise clients dispersed all over the world.
That's a lot of
Um,
extra words added on the end of customers. So are they all paying, or why do you add so many
yeah.
extra words there?
Because we tier our license cost. We have a small medium business price tier, and we have a enterprise price tier. So when I say 200 enterprise, that's our bread and butter comes from the enterprise. And so
I,
when we
I
talk
see.
about the small business, it's like there are more than 200 customers, but the issue is that those customers are, while we love them and they do help us, um, they're not a majority of the revenue that we see. And
Yeah.
so
So
that's
200
why.
are folks that are paying you something meaningful every month, two, three,
Hmm.
5 machines. And the biggest of the 200 have 10, 20, 30 machines.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to 24 early days real quick. I always like to ask,
Sure.
do you remember what first year revenue was, 2014?
I mean, it's embarrassing.
Well, I know, but that's
It's
why I
still like
ask, right?
it's not just embarrassing, but it's like we've grown by leaps and bounds when you put it in the perspective of our founding days, our first year, right?
Well, of course, but you're inspiring
But
everyone else right now who's listening, who's thinking about founding a company, right? So how low was
I
it?
don't know. It was like maybe like 35, 40K. I
That's
mean, it
amazing.
was it
And who was
wasn't
the first customer? Or
it
not
was
who, but
some
like
guy.
how did you find them?
Yeah.
How'd you get the customer?
So again, we partnered with that reseller who
Ah,
is
okay.
their focus is on marketing to post-production motion graphics designers. And so we weren't selling direct to anybody. We were just like, hey, if this thing works on your site, when you do the marketing work,
What
we'll
kickback did you
consider.
pay them?
I think at the beginning it was like an Apple Store kind of thing. It was like 30%. And
Oh,
then
okay, okay.
as we saw the market respond, we negotiated half of that. So it ended up being 15%.
Yep. And are they
So
still selling customers for you today?
yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
They're very good. Yeah,
Is that how
yeah.
you're adding all your customers say is through value-added resellers, or do you have your own internal sales reps that carry a quota?
So we have, I have, so it's a total of 9 of us. We're still
Okay.
very small. Okay.
Yep.
I have, one of the team is in charge of sales, and there are direct sales that are being made. The largest sales are being made direct.
How many are
Um,
full-time employees that are sales for you?
one.
Oh, you just the one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And how many
And
engineers besides yourself?
it's 2 other engineers besides
Okay,
myself.
so 3 total. So what do the other 5 people do?
One is a project manager because we have other product that is being developed right now, which we're really excited about, by the way. Another
You want to tell me
is,
about it?
yeah, if you want to hear about it.
All right, let's save that
So,
for the end.
okay, so the other, we have a quality assurance professional who
Yep.
makes sure that every release doesn't break because we have on demand, we have always on systems. So the QA is extremely important. And then let's see, I have a technical lead that basically helps with all things infrastructure internally
Yep.
in our site, and then we have I think oh I have a very very awesome customer support specialist who comes from Apple. So
Okay.
like basically the face of the company in that regard, and the technical support, customer success. I mean, couldn't
Great.
ask for a better
We know
team.
your team now. I was curious what the mix is. All right. So 9 folks full time. I
Sure.
love that you're bootstrapped. Now, look, I mean, with this many customers at the price points we were talking about earlier, I mean, you've got to be flirting with if you haven't already passed the $1 million run rate. Can you do that this year, you think?
Yeah, yeah, I think so for sure.
Okay.
But you know, I think the release of new product, new revenue sources, new revenue streams. I think that's critical for our continued growth. And we're doing just that. And
Yeah.
so, and at the top of January, we're going to reassess our pricing model. That is to say, we think that eliminating the small to medium business price is going to actually help us, even if we see some attrition. And then we'll have we'll have a completely cloud hosted product that's more easily accessible. Right now, it's very expensive. We're going to be lowering that price, and then this new product that we're developing now is going to be released in beta, at least at the beginning of next year.
Very cool. Arie, we're out of time here. I'm going to try and rocket through these real quick. I need 200 customers, right? At a $6,000 your price point you told me earlier would put you at about 100,000 a month right now in revenue. But it sounds like you haven't hit 83,000 a month. But I just want to be clear. I mean, you feel like we've got 2 months left here in 2022. You feel like you can break 83,000 bucks a month here in the next 2 months?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Well, I'm rooting for you, man. It's obviously it's fantastic to bootstrap to that size. It's taken you what, 8 years, but you know what? That's the hustle, right? That's the journey.
Yeah,
so
that is the hustle.
On that note, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
The Messy Middle.
Yep. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Really, no. I can't say that I am.
No, you're good. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building data, Clay?
I mean, I have to say too, I do like Jira for management, but I also like Miro, which is phenomenally great at whiteboarding across remote teams. Miro, It's great.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Between 4 and 5.5.
All right, fair. And situation, married, single, kids?
I am married with 3 children.
3 kids. Wow, busy guy. How old are you?
I am 45 years old.
Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20?
I think that I wish that I knew how difficult it was to, put together a really great team. And at this point, I feel like I've nailed down a really good core team. But I realize that team is really what it is all about, and getting the right people in the right place and motivating them, finding the space to push them to new heights, to make sure they're not bored to death with their jobs. That kind of stuff. I wish I had known that at the outset. Before, it was just more like, I'm going to invent a widget and it's going to be great. And it's not the case. It really does take a team to do great things. And so I wanted to know that earlier. So.
Guys, there you have it. Those clips you see on Twitter after your favorite NFL receiver catches that bomb touchdown, that's dataclay.com powering that on the back end. They work with over 200 brands like NFL, Apple, NBC, that pay on average call it $400 or $600 per month. It's a per machine model. They'll break $1 million in revenue this year, bootstrapped, up from $40,000 back in their first year of 2014. Their go-to-market was actually through a reseller, where in the early days they paid 30% kickback. Now scaling that channel with just a 15% kickback, but very capital efficient. Again, bootstrap with team of 9, second product on the way here in January. Arie, thanks for taking us to the top.
Nathan, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com YouTube.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.